This is Alexander Playtime Williams of PlayTimeCares.com. What's up, world? This is Alexander Playtime Williams of PlayTimeCares.com giving you a full Raw recap. March 21st, 2016, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, JBL, Michael Cole, Byron Saxton are your commentators. We started off in memory of Mary Catherine Stewart, 22, 1994 to 2016, 21 to 22, depending on when the birthday fell this year. But our condolences to that family. I'm about to research to see who that is. They did a Raw recap of Roman Reigns coming back and fighting Triple H, and they showed Triple H busting up Roman Reigns' nose and all that type of stuff. Then how Roman Reigns just been acting a fool lately. And I'm going to go on record and say the crowd is not receiving Roman Reigns very well. They should just let Roman Reigns interfere in a match with Shane and Undertaker and um, help Shane out, and he be the main person. He need to do a heel turn because the crowd booing him every chance they get. So Stephanie McMahon comes down the ring, said Triple H wasn't going to show up because he had corporate responsibilities, and said Roman Reigns not that smart because he pretty much risked his WrestleMania opportunity just to get revenge. And then, of course, Roman Reigns come out and say that Triple H was just scared because he didn't want to get his butt whipped, and say he gonna take the title at WrestleMania. And then Steph tried to smack him in the face. Roman Reigns caught it and then said, "Hey, I'm the authority now." So your first match was AJ Styles versus the Intercontinental Champion Kevin Owens, and they actually did a lot of cool moves, a lot of cool aerial moves. And Kevin Owens, to say the size that he is, he did a lot of really cool stuff in the match. And Y2J, Chris Jericho, came out again because they started off showing the SmackDown recap of Kevin Owens um, and AJ Styles having their match, and Chris Jericho came down and on the mic, AJ Styles, and AJ looking at Chris Jericho, and then Kevin Owens able to get the win on him. So Chris Jericho pretty much came out and did the exact same thing, and unfocused AJ Styles gets pinned by Kevin Owens, and then AJ Styles runs after Chris Jericho, and Chris Jericho runs in the back. Match about a 3 out of 5. Kevin Owens grabs the microphone and pretty much say, "Hey, look, there's nobody that really deserves to be part of KO Mania. Nobody really deserves the title shot." Dolph Ziggler comes out, he like, "Please." The Miz come out and was like, "Please." And then Sami Zayn came out and was like, "Please." Kevin Owens like, "Look, I don't think none of y'all deserve it, but I'll go talk to the authority about having a triple threat match. Whoever wins, that's who get a title shot at WrestleMania." So Dean Ambrose, they show him, he cuts a promo with Terry Funk, and Terry Funk gives him his chainsaw, his chainsaw, and actually, what his name was, Chainsaw Charlie. He gave him the chainsaw and told him to use that against Brock. And then they cut away to Dean Ambrose actually talking to Stephanie and saying, "Hey, can they have a triple threat match?" And Stephanie was like, "Sure." And they did a montage of all of the superstars and their reaction to how Shane McMahon used to be and what it's going to mean for him to actually wrestle the Undertaker and things of that nature. It was really nice. Those production guys for WWE actually do a really, really good job when they put together these type of things. Um, then the League of Nations comes to the ring, and they pretty much say that the New Day isn't in the same class as them. Then they do a Raw recap of the New Day beating them, but then the League of Nations like whooping those boys afterwards, and the New Days come out and of course, League of Nations say the New Day suck, and that prompted the New Day to come out and say, "Hey, we don't suck," and they start talking a lot of smack about each individual person. Then they went and attacked the League of Nations. Second match, you got Biggie versus Rusev. It was Biggie dominating really early, but both of these guys really did impress. You had two big guys. They did do a couple of aerial moves. So I like the fact that they went a little extra mile. Um, Knew they, they played it a little bit sneakier than the League of Nations, because the League of Nations actually used the number games at first and wiped out Coffee and Xavier Woods, and they were knocked out for a little bit. But towards the end of the match, Xavier Woods jumped up, he shook off the cobweb, went attacking folks, and then Coffee Kingston attacked Rusev while he was in the ring, gave him pretty much the Birds of Paradise, kicked him in the head, and Big E was able to put the big ending on him and get the pin victory. That match was either a strong 2, just a strong average match, or weak 3, good points in it. So, first match was a definite 3. This match is a almost 3. Um, then the Wyatts, they cut a promo saying that, this new beginning. I think they references spring. Spring happened a day ago, and they said, you know, the new beginnings will hurt, but you will have paradise afterwards. Pretty much, that's a paraphrase. Then Braun Strowman said that he's going to sacrifice Dean Ambrose tonight and offer out his soul to to the whole apocalypse thing that they're doing. So the Big Show comes to the ring, and he said Andre the Giant is the best giant to ever, wrestle, and said it's going to be an honor to be a 2-time over the top Andre the Giant Battle Royal winner at WrestleMania, since he's the defending champ. He's going to do it again, which prompted the Social Outcasts to come out and say they're going to whoop Andre, the Big Show, and knock him out of the competition. And then they jumped the Big Show. And, Big Show fought him off for as long as he could, but, 4 against 1, they're able to get him. Kane comes out and just throw all of the Social Outcasts over the rope. And then Big Show hugged him and got on the top rope and was like, yeah, Kane the man. And then Kane choke slammed him off of the top rope. So that was it. Then they said that Stan Hansen, he's going to be he's going to be the newest inductee into the Hall of Fame. And they showed some of his stuff. Third match, you got Fandango versus Chris Jericho, and they recapped Chris Jericho's interference and AJ versus Kevin Owens match, which you know what that means. Chris Jericho pretty much whooped his boy the entire match. AJ comes out and starts saying, "Why to jackass?" And he kept saying that. Chris Jericho's like, "Hey, whatever." Fandango tried to take advantage of him being distracted. Not happening. Chris Jericho put him in a cold breaker, got the pin victory, and AJ Styles goes after Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho slides out the ring. AJ Styles pretty much challenges him to a match at WrestleMania and want him to do that. So they cut back to the superstars talking more about Shane, what he's done in his match with The Undertaker at WrestleMania. And then you had your fourth match. You had your triple threat match that Kevin Owens asked for. Everybody was expecting The Miz, Dolph Ziggler, Sami Zayn. But Kevin Owens introduced Stardust, Sin Cara, and Zack Ryder. And he said whoever wins that has a chance to face him for the title at WrestleMania. And the crowd booing and all that type of stuff. Match going on. Of course, The Miz, Dolph Ziggler, and Sami Zayn comes down there, and they, pretty much calling him a liar and saying that he's scared, telling Kevin Owens he's scared and all that type of stuff. Kevin Owens gets up and was like, "Hey, whatever." And Zack Ryder and Sin Cara falls outside the ring, and then Kevin Owens attacks Zack Ryder. I pretty much call that a no contest, and all 6 of the men start attacking Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens escapes, and he and yeah, that was it. The match was about 2 out of 5. It wasn't really a really good match. The focus wasn't really on there. It was just an average match. They did a Raw recap of Roman Reigns and Stephanie's interaction from earlier today. Then Stephanie was on the phone with Triple H and said she gonna leave because she don't trust Roman Reigns' motives. And Kevin Owens come in and interrupts. She's like, "Yeah, I told you, don't interrupt me." She said, "Hold on." So he said, "Okay, I'll meet you outside in a couple of minutes and we can leave." And he's like, okay, what you need? He said, you don't see them 6 maniacs attack me? She was like, oh, and she's upset. She's like, you know what? Man, it's the gist of it. You know what? What's going to happen is you're going to defend your title against all 6 of those guys, and it's going to be a ladder match at WrestleMania. Then turn the lights off when you leave my office, and she just leaves. So they did a SmackDown recap of the interaction that happened between Charlotte, Sasha Banks, and Becky Lynch. Ric Flair was in the ring too, the way she apologized for even thinking that they was worthy to be called horsewomen and stuff like that. So, of course, your next match, which is your 5th match, is going to be Natalya versus Charlotte with Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch on commentary. And Charlotte did a good job. She tried to push Natalya did a good job. She tried to put Charlotte in many finishing moves, submission holds, and things of that nature. But Charlotte ended up winning that one. Got the pin victory. Match was a 2 out of 5. Then they did a recap of Terry Funk giving away Chainsaw Charlie to Dean Ambrose. And 6th match was Bubba Ray with Devon in tow versus R-Truth. And the numbers game was just too much. It was a 2-on-1 match essentially, and Devon kept distracting him and caused R-Truth to get pinned. Match was a 2 out of 5. Dudley Boy started trying to jump R-Truth. Goldust comes out because he couldn't stand to see it no more. He started attacking him. They overtake Goldust. The Usos come out. They start beating up on him. The Usos grab a table from underneath the ring. The crowd go crazy. And they put Devon Dudley on top of it, but Bubba was able to save him before they both tried to get on opposite sides of the ring and jump on him. Match was a 2 out of 5, just FYI. Vince McMahon comes down and name all the things that had happened and Shane McMahon won WrestleMania. Then they did a recap of, Shane, Vince McMahon, and The Undertaker being in the ring together, which ended up with The Undertaker chokeslamming Shane and trying to get to Vince McMahon. And Vince McMahon said, hey, I agree with one thing that Shane said. The Undertaker is my bitch. Crowd was like, oh. He said if the Taker loses, then it's going to be the Taker's last WrestleMania. Interesting twist. Because I'm thinking that the Undertaker probably want to retire anyway. That's why they keep doing all these 25 years of destruction and all that type of thing. All that type of stuff. Think he might want to retire. We'll see if that has any real effect in 13 days. Last match is the 7th match, Dean Ambrose versus Braun Strowman. No matter what Dean Ambrose did, Braun Strowman had a counter for it. Let's keep in mind, when Braun Strowman came, he beat up Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns at the same time. Choked him out, did the submission move thing on him. So everything that he did, Braun Strowman had a counter for it. Dean Ambrose decided that he wanted to use the chair. He started busting Braun Strowman with a chair, loses the match by disqualification, and Dean Ambrose was finally able to get the dirty deeds on Braun Strowman on top of the chair. And that was pretty much it. Match was a 2 out of 5. It wasn't really a good match. It was just an average match. So, hey, subscribe to the channel. Follow me on everything. It's always Playtime Cares. I follow back. Thank you for listening. Playtime out.